everyone. I'm Linda Nickell, and welcome to the Happiness Hour, where photographers meet to connect, inspire, and create. My guests share tips, techniques, and the stories behind their favorite photographs. The schedule for upcoming presentations is on my website at lindanickell.com. And if you haven't subscribed to the Happiness Hour YouTube channel, please check it out for sessions that you may have missed. Tonight's guest is Chery Brummett. Chery is a photographer, conservationist, and naturalist based in Texas, Rio Grande Valley. She is a member of the Rio Grande Valley Pollinator Project, whose mission focuses on conservation efforts to increase the survival rate of the monarch butterfly. In tonight's presentation, South Texas, a photographer's paradise, Chery will talk about the incomparable beauty of South Texas. It's known for its diverse ecosystems and subtropical climate. She'll highlight the Rio Grande Valley's abundant opportunities to photograph the region's beauty while emphasizing the need to preserve natural habitat. If you're on Instagram, you can find Chery at Hummerflies, and you can connect with her through her website at visionsbychery.com. Welcome to the Happiness Hour, Chery.
Thank you, Linda. It's great to be here.
Well,
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, it's good to have you. So you and I met, was it a year ago? Almost a year ago? Yeah, last summer. You participated in one of my, I don't know what the right word is, Call for Arts for the Texas Through Her Lens Instagram page, where I was able to curate a exhibit for the Williamson Museum, and you participated, and you guys came up and we got to meet, and I learned that you are like butterfly crazy, specifically for the monarchs. And the next time I saw you, you were knee deep in working on this pollinator project down there. And I think I saw Trish in here. Trish Ziegler recruited you, and you came up and did a presentation for Mayfield Park's fundraiser. So you are not afraid to put miles on your vehicle, and kudos to your husband for being your driver and supporting you in that. I sometimes it's unfair when I do intros for people that I know, because I kind of skim over things because I mean, I know it. Doesn't everybody know it? What did I? So if I miss something that you would really like to, tell people about yourself, take the opportunity to do that. Otherwise, I'm just gonna let you have the screen.
Well, thank you. That was a wonderful introduction. And Susan Upton is in the crowd right now. Woo-hoo, Susan, she's part of my pollinator project too. So we're really proud of that. We've done a lot of good with that project, and I'm really proud that we're still continuing to grow with that as well. But thank you.
Share. I know you have a website for them, so go ahead and share that in case someone's curious about what you guys are doing. Take advantage of putting that out there.
Yeah, I was really tempted to give a little spiel today about the Rio Grande Pollinator Project, but I tamed it down and I didn't do it this time, but maybe next time anyway. Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is really more of things that I like about South Texas. And to be honest with you, when I started photographing down there, it was mainly just to go to the beach. I had no idea what actually was available in South Texas. The Rio Grande Valley specifically has quite a few things that nowhere else in the United States has. The birds and the butterflies are most people know about it, but there are other things as well. And it's really exciting to talk about it. The Rio Grande Valley is a special place. And I want everyone to see how special it is, and hopefully you all come see it because it's worth it all the way. So without further ado, let's get going here. I just want to go over some quick things here. Our outline, I'm going to just a little introduction about the Rio Grande Valley. We're going to go over some landscapes. Obviously, my favorite place to photograph is South Padre Island, although I do like all the places in Rio Grande Valley. I'm kind of close to it. I live in Brownsville, and on one side is closer to the island, and that's where I live. So I spend a lot of time there. The shipping channel and port of Brownsville, a lot of people don't think about, but there's a lot of photographic opportunities in that area. The shells, believe it or not, you can do some really creative things with shells. I've seen some great stuff on Instagram before, and just your imagination can go wild. But there's a shell club down there, and I'm part of it. So is Susan. It's really great. They are very friendly, and they will help you. They are at events, and they'll tell you exactly where to go. So if you want to know where to find a shell, they're the people to talk to. Anyway, Laguna Madre Bay. We're going to talk about the convention center and the flats over there. The sea turtle hatchlings are really special in my heart, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit. Can't forget Port Isabel. That's a great place to go as well. And the wildlife is out there, not just birds. So we're going to talk about the sanctuary and the refuges and wetlands and bats. Believe it or not, here in South Texas, we do have a bat colonies down here as well that are fun to see. You don't have to go all the way to Austin. You can come down here to South Texas, and we'll show you where they're at. Birding, butterflies, I talked about that. All the flora, your macro photography, you can have a field day here. There's all kinds of opportunities with all the pollinators we have down here. Talk about the cultural landmarks and the historical sites and other, the events and festivals and things that are down here. All those things are great opportunities for you to come down and photograph. There's a lot of rich cultural heritage here with Mexican Americans and all the culture here. 85% are Mexican American down here, and it's just gorgeous. All the festivals and all the landmarks and the history that is here is just immense. I have yet to even touch the surface of all the places there is to go. Becoming a Texas Master Naturalist was one of the best things I ever did because it's really helping me find all these great locations. If you're not involved in that organization, you really should try it. It's great. You can go into places you've never thought you could ever go before, behind the scenes even. It's a great opportunity. Anyway, that's what happened for me, and it really opened the door for me for wildlife photography. The Rio Grande Valley is actually not a valley. It is a river delta. And a lot of people don't realize that, and it really is the fertile land here for all the farming. So we do have 1,200 plant species, 519 bird species. These obviously fluctuate. There are give or take a few others, and the butterfly species. And then we have some endangered species here. A lot of people know about the ocelots, but there are other things as well. But it includes 4 counties. Those are 4 counties that Rio Grande Valley has. All right, starting with scenic landscapes, cactus and the yucca are beautiful, and especially when you see them in the sunrise or the sunsets. It's great opportunities to do it when the fields are full of blooms. Going to South Padre Island, the jetties is a great opportunity. I'm going to talk about the jetties a lot just because there's so many things to do. As you can see from this one picture with the great blue herring, it's got the shrimp boat right behind it, and we can constantly see boats coming. If you just sit on the edge of the jetty there, a lot of people just bring their chair and sit back and watch the boats go through. But it's really fun to see. The dolphins are everywhere. You don't have to have a tour. You just sit right there on the jetty, and you can see the dolphins jump and come after the boats. It's a lot of fun. but try and get, you can always get, a regular dolphin picture, but try and get creative. That's where I did with the tail. Right. So when you go on the island and you make a right when you get on the island and you go all the way to the end, you're going to get to that to the park. There is an admission fee for that, but it is well worth it. I usually get the yearly pass and go quite often. But there's all kinds of concessions and boardwalks, and you can fish and you can swim, and it's just immense all the things you can do. And there are other things as well. There's a place where they have, concerts and venues and the options. There are surfers that go out there, and that is a lot of fun to watch surfers. Even sitting on the jetties, you can just turn your head the other way instead of looking towards the boats. You look the other way, and then you see all the surfers. So it's a lot of fun to go down there. Seeing that shrimp boat and all the birds and the dolphins, that's a lot of fun. Have I said that enough? Okay, so still on the island there, there's a big, huge freight liners that come through. You can see the tugboats, tugging along. And then fishermen right behind waiting in. And this beautiful statue, I did take one, that was sunset. And then this one was sunrise. And I just love taking those, those sunrise pictures down there. So here's the Port of Brownsville and the shipping channel. It brings, you can see the big freight liner, but then in the background, you can see the SpaceX. It's bigger now. It's not, I think that was a little while ago. So it's not that size anymore. But if you take one of the boating tours, you can see a rookery. It's over there by in that shipping channel area, and they'll take you right by it, and you can see in the summertime you can see all the birds in there. There's tons of great blue heron and great egrets and you name it. You can see all of the water birds. And this is, just sitting on the beach there, you can see an osprey bringing the fish on by. So after a big storm, you can see all the washed up shells that come up to the beach. And on the bottom, I just have a staged picture of the shells. Those are some of the shells that I found in that. After a big storm, the whole beach is completely covered with shells, and you have your pick, whatever you want there. But try and get creative. That's what I did with the other one. There were all kinds of the starfish that were washed up ashore, unfortunately, and that happens a lot with the big storms. We see all that. But just try and get creative. You can find all kinds of ways to really do shell pictures. And Laguna Madre Bay, that's the other side of the island. So one side of the island faces the Gulf of Mexico, and the other side of the island faces Laguna Madre Bay. And you can get just as much fun watching one side as you can the other. And you can watch the fishermen there just as much. They have fireworks and sunsets, just sitting there watching, eating, and it's really a great place to observe all the wildlife that's even in that area. One time I was sitting there and the tide was so low, I actually saw a coyote cross it, believe it or not. Sometimes you can see all kinds of strange things. But try and photograph, this is the same place, one with the sunset and one in the blue hour. And you can see the difference with the lighting. Play with your lighting, try different ways of doing it. This is, the bay. So try different other ways as well. With the silhouettes is another good way of finding. If you don't like birds, but you just want to take some pretty pictures, there's a go. Just take a silhouette picture. But the size of the sun is just immense. It's just. I also use a telephoto lens, and so when you use a telephoto lens, the sun or the moon looks a lot bigger. Doesn't look like it normally does. So Then going over to the convention center flats, you can get pretty creative over there. All the water birds are fishing. Got to catch the tide when it's just right, and when it is, then it's pretty active, and you can see black skimmers skimming the water for fish, and every water bird you can think of is over there. But there's some black-necked stilts in there, and the lighting was just right for that. So a lot of fun to play around with those lighting techniques there. This is up within the flats too. You can see it during breeding season. You can see these birds. They really are colorful, and they are fierce. You see the two on the left here, the two clapper rails. They just went at each other, fighting for territory. But there's that blue skimmer. He got a fish. But on the bottom, you can see that crab is actually, that's mating season for the crab. He's eating a piece of grass right now. So they are actually in little holes along the edges. And then you can see them pop in and out every now and then. But the big red lips looks like they're wearing lipstick. I just love it. So this is near and dear to my heart. When I started Texas Master Naturalist, I wanted to be involved in the sea turtle program. I used to live in North Padre area in Port Aransas, and I went to North Padre Island to see the sea turtle releases with my son when he was little. I was homeschooling him, and we went out there and saw him. You have to do it at the crack of dawn, but it's well worth the trip. And they put him in these little coolers, and then they'd rope it all off all the way around, and they take the cooler all around so everybody can see how many. There could be hundreds in that little cooler. You never know how many are going to be released that day. And then they just put them down one at a time, because they each have to be on the beach and fight, through the tide to get to the water themselves. And what that does is just imprint them to that beach. So they'll come back and lay eggs on that beach in the future. So it's really important. They are endangered, and it's in Texas, you can drive on the beach. So if you drive on the beach, there's a good chance you're going to roll over. You're going to run over turtles or eggs or mama or who knows what. So they had a program where they patrol the beach, and that's what I was involved in. So you patrol the beach, you take a 30-mile ride from one end of the Sea Turtle Inc. to all the way to Port Mansfield jetty, and that's 30 miles. You go one way, so it's about an 8-hour day, and you go back and forth and look for the eggs. Look and see if mom is laying down digging any holes. So what you try and do is you're trying to protect it so nobody runs them over. So if you find a nest, you rope it off, and that way nobody will be getting in it. So anyway, it's a really great program, and seeing them released is just a thrill. And you see that one at the top on the left. He has his little arms way out, and he's just flying through the air. I mean, he was ready for that wave to hit him and to fly out into the water. It was so cute.
Hey, Chery, what time of
Yeah.
year what time of year can you find the baby turtles?
Okay. So August and July, that's usually when you can see the releases. So, and they have to do it. It has to be done either at night at the full moon, or it's going to be done. It depends on when they hatch, or it's going to be done at the crack of dawn. And they let you know that day. So it's really, you have to be ready, prepared once they announce it. They announce it on Facebook, or if you happen to be a member, you can get a personal text, and it will tell you that before everybody else gets notified. So that's one of the advantages of being a member at their facility, which is not very expensive, and it's well worth it. They're a rescue, and they save the turtles. If there's any of them that come up ashore, it's a hospital, they mend them, and then they release them. It's really a great organization. And they do this with the sea turtle hatchlings because the predators will get at them and people will steal them. It's, a market for them just like anything else. They're very vulnerable. So what they do is they dig them up and then they put them in a corral. They call it a corral, but it's actually they're going to dig another hole and they're going to put them in exactly the same order that they were put in by mom. So it's really, really technical and they get it all just right. And then they cover it back up and they start coming back out, then that's when they get notified. So you don't always get to see it. You're lucky if you do. So you cross your fingers if you happen to be in the island then, and it happens to happen. But that's about the time of year you're going to see them. Is then.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Port Isabel. It's a great place to be. It's really pretty at Christmas time too, but um, there's all kinds of things to do down there. The downtown, they have a nice little shopping area and they have places to eat and you can sit on the side there and there's a big fishing pier and all kinds of things you can do. But for photography, there's all your opportunities. I mean, and you may not want to fish, but photographing fishermen or the process and what's going on, those are all fun things to do. So there's endless possibilities for that. We have Nail Guy here. I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with Nail Guy, but it's an invasive species now, so they're everywhere. Those are the two, and the one's a male on the right, and the one in the center, top center, is the female. And so they're all over the place now. So if you see them, I mean, you get to see them more often now than you normally do, and they do have babies quite often. So that's a treat to get to see them. And the deer at Mansfield, Port Mansfield. I don't know if you've ever been out there, but the whole town is full of deer, and it's fun to watch all the deer all over the place. But it's a little different. Obviously, coyotes and turkeys. Roadrunners are fun to watch, so everybody likes to see a roadrunner, and we have plenty down here in the valley. You can see them all over the place. And we can't forget the reptiles, the armadillo. And I was a little I kid with my husband because every time I see an armadillo, it's not alive, unfortunately. And I've seen them in Missouri and all over the place. I finally got to see one at Laguna Atascosa, but it was midday. I mean, it was so hot, and look how sunny it was. But looking at it, looking at the details, there's actually little hairs on that armor that he has there. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So there's always other things you can do, even in the bright sunlight. You may not get a good full shot, but getting up closer, you can see the details, and that's always fun to do. And I was bird banding, and we came home, or we were coming out of it. I was with Alicia, and we looked over at this alligator and the whole bank was full of little babies all over the place. You can see the little babies. And they were all different sizes. And there were some on top of her and some on the ground and all over. But you never know what you're going to see. Just got to keep your eyes open. And mothing is big in this area because just like the butterflies, we have a lot of rare moths. And so when the black light comes out, we can see the scorpions. And that scorpion, he got himself a pretty good sized spider on there. But Texas tortoise, that's another endangered species around here. And we are happy to see them when we see them. They're doing tests, they're doing research, trying to keep track of them. They got little radio. That one doesn't have one, but I do have a picture of one. I got at Hugh Ramsey Park that actually has one of those little radio where they're keeping track of them, collars on them. But we are full of wildlife sanctuaries and refuges and wetlands. They're everywhere. I mean, no matter where you go around here, you're going to find something. One thing I learned in Texas Master Naturalist that Texas is 95% privately owned. So that public land is really important for us to be able to experience the outdoors and to see everything. Ranches are big in our area, that's for sure, but there are so many state parks and other things. San Benito and has wetlands. It's not available for everybody right now. But they do have times where you can go out there if you keep up with the Audubon Birding Society they have in Harlingen. They have it once a month where you can go out there too. But anyway, there the Sable Palm and the Valley Nature Center. All of those areas are abundance of all kinds of wildlife, not just birds, but all kinds of wildlife, and they each are unique because they each have something different to offer. The Sal del Rey is the salt lake. So, I mean, that's not something you're going to find everywhere. Those two terns up there in the front, they're doing a little courtship over there, but they're standing on salt. That's from a salt lake that they have. So here's our bats. You know, they're right underneath the viaduct, and they're in the palm trees. And right when it hits dusk, thousands of these bats come out in Mission, Texas. And anybody can see them. You just stand on the corner there and they'll all be out. And it's really exciting to see. Can get a good view. So the Rio Grande Valley is very famous for bird watching. You know, bird watchers their enthusiasts come from all over the world, not just the United States, to the Rio Grande Valley. We are really a unique area, and there's over 500 species found right here, and a lot of them are only found here. So not a lot of them, but there are a lot that are only found here. So it's very exciting to be a part of that. And that's when I started wildlife photography. I never really was interested in birds. I mean, I thought it was, oh, okay, it's a bird. But once I really got into it, I realized how different they really are and how unique they are. For instance, the two ruby throat on the bottom in the center, those are two males. Okay, they're not gay, they're fighting. And he ripped out the one on the bottom, the one on the top ripped out his feathers from his head. He was not about to leave. He was going to go, and that was it. So it's exciting just to see how they interact, and their colors are so beautiful. You know, and when it comes migration time in the spring and in the fall, people, when they come, it's great to meet everybody, but just to see what comes through. You never know what you'll see. That's why I think birding more than anything is it's like a scavenger hunt for me to see what will come up today. What will I see now? You know, it's exciting. So we in the Rio Grande Valley area have the World Birding Center, which is 9 locations specifically. And each one of them, you can see them now, the Quinta, South Padre Island Birding Center, Harlingen. And you can see all of these areas. Estero, Resaca de la Palma, they all have something unique in each one of them. And you'll find something different. You'll find some similar items as well, or similar birds, or similar wildlife. But then each one of them has something unique. Like Benson, you'll see the hook-billed kite. You don't always see that everywhere else. So it's nice. We are a very special place to have all these places available, and it's nice that they can have a sanctuary for all the birds and all the wildlife, that they'll be safe. And we have year-round residents. These are our specialty birds. These are the birds that you're going to see all the time here, and people come from all over to see them. Paraloxia, the green jays, those are all things that people come and see. We're lucky enough where we have 3 kinds of kingfishers. People, you know, the green kingfisher isn't shown here, but we have a green kingfisher as well, and you know, those are all exciting to see. People don't always get to see all those. And we have the parakeets. A lot of people know that we have the parakeets and the parrots. If you go to a park in Brownsville, Texas, Olivera Park, you will see the red-crowned parrots, and all. We have 5 different species that come. Some come at just sometimes, and others come at others. But they'll roost for the night. They'll come in and they'll stage on the wires, the telephone wires, and then they'll roost for the night. And you can see them every night if you go at dawn. I mean at dusk, and it's a guarantee if you want to see a whole bunch of parrots. It's kind of noisy. Some of the residents aren't crazy about it, but you know, the tourists like it. The birders like it. Anyway, you can see, all kinds of different kinds of behavior. For instance, that roadrunner. See how he's got his feathers all fluffed like that? What he's trying to do is get some heat. He's trying to warm himself up. And a lot of birds do that. And I happened to be sitting and I watched and I saw that one come up in sunbathe. We also have a mangrove warbler, which is a very unique, and you see that on the island as well. So, and all around, if you go on a boat tour at the mangroves, anywhere you can see the mangroves. Our winter residents, the osprey, you see a lot of osprey in the winter, a lot of osprey, and it's fun to watch them catch the fish, that's for sure. Vermilion flycatchers are always fun to watch too, the red ones. But this right here, this loggerhead shrike, this is a unique thing. I don't know if you've ever seen them before, but the way they hunt is you can see how he's put all those crabs and caterpillars and whatever he can find. He impales them on the yucca plant and you can see them. It's like a Christmas tree with all the little things on there. But he doesn't just do one. There was a couple other ones as well. But he saves them up. He just puts them on there and takes off and goes and gets another one. That's the first time I ever actually seen one. I've heard it before, but you can see it quite often at Rio Grande and Laguna de Escosa. We have tours, during festivals and so forth. That is not open to the public, but during those festivals and the tours, you can go there and see that very special thing that you can't see everywhere. And our summer residents here, it's great to see the hooded orioles. I get them in my yard and they always have nests near me. The groove-billed Ani. I don't put the Ani in there in a while. But purple martins, everybody likes to see the purple martins. But the lesser nighthawk, it was really a really nice find for me to see. I don't like to get close to the nests, and so I didn't even come near it. I went inside a travel trailer that I have. This was out back, and if you go to a certain way, you can barely even see the babies. So with my long lens, I was able to get to them, but it was hard. But we have quite a few of them near us. And same thing with the killdeer. Everybody, killdeer's nationwide, but getting to see their courtship, I never seen them do the courtship before. That was kind of fun to see. And then, when the babies come back, they all go hiding underneath mama. That's always fun to see too. The babies are so cute. This one was trying to learn how to fly, and he would pump his little arms, his little wings up and down, and jump up a little bit, jump up a little bit. It was so cute. And the whistling ducks, everybody likes those. And they look so cute when they're little like that. I just can't squeeze them enough. They're so cute. But I like this one in the center where the baby duck has got his beak down like the mama duck does. And the one in the left-hand corner, if you look, there's 4 ducks in there, 2 little ones, 2 big ones, and they're all going in a different direction. It's just fun. And then, of course, the rare birds. Oh, boy, is this a fun area for rare birds. People, get a storm or some kind of wind, take those birds all over the place. And we get lucky enough where we get to see some birds that we would have normally not seen. So it's always a big excitement for the birders. We always have our rare bird alert raring to go. Where is it going to be next throughout the Rio Grande Valley? So if you haven't been, I'm sure if you all live in Texas, you know what a ranch is. But from a northern point of view, a ranch was cattle. It wasn't anything but. But down here, ranches are other opportunities. Wildlife viewing, sightseeing, photography tours, bird watching. There's all kinds of opportunities you can see. And they have tours all over the place on all the ranches that you can find. It's endless opportunities. Of course, I always like to go with Ruth Hoyt, so I go wherever she goes. Normally, you can get a pretty darn good picture when you're at these ranches. It's pretty hard not to get a good picture. Ruth has got this motto where she doesn't want to do anything post if she doesn't have to. She wants to do it all in her camera. So this is the perfect way to get everything perfect in your camera without having to do, post processing. And you'll see birds and other wildlife that you wouldn't have normally seen. They usually have a pond that they always come to the water, and you never know what you're going to see when they come. And you got to get creative. Sometimes the birds can do some funny things, but when you are going for the parrots, like I said, it's dark time, it's dusk, and you're lucky if you can get a good picture. So got to get creative, go with the sunset, get some color in it, and try some different things. But it's always fun just to see what kind of things the birds will do. But here we go with the butterflies. I just started really getting into them a couple of years ago because when I was working at the Nature and Birding Center on the island, Javi, the naturalist there, every time a butterfly would come to the garden, he would be, "Hey, Chery, come outside. Look at what I saw. You won't believe where he came from." So it's a kind of a funny impersonation of Javi, but he got me and quite a few other people involved, and it really became a big thing for me. So now I've gone on the tours, and the National Butterfly Center in Mission has a event every year. People come from all over the place to see these butterflies that are coming through during migration for the butterflies, because they're rare as well. We can see all kinds of stuff. You never know what you're going to see. And here's, like I said, endless possibilities with all the pollinators around here, macro photography. Just sit out your back door, really, but you can still see the carpenter ants was at Quinta Mazatlan, and they had a big old long line going. That was a lot of fun watching that. And the flora is everywhere. People don't think that South Texas has pretty flowers, but let me tell you, we have a lot of pretty flowers. And it's everywhere. And when it's in bloom, oh, it's just mind-blowing. You can just drive down the road and yellow and orange, and it's beautiful. So don't let anybody tell you that we don't have any flora down here, because we do. Even the olive tree looks pretty. So going with, I'm not going to go through each one of these. You can see there's a very long list of cultural landmarks and historical sites that you can see, and fun things that you can do. The Ecotourism Center that was just built recently, and that tells you all about the Rio Grande Valley area. If you ever want to go, head out to Laguna Vista, and you can, they'll tell you where to go and where not to go. It's a great place to visit as well. And I like it specifically, and that's Susan's hotspot, because we tagged a lot of monarch butterflies there. Their pollinator garden is really good, and they have monarchs who flock there like crazy. And so do the queens. Queen butterflies are pretty prevalent down here. We get a lot of queen butterflies. So South Texas Ecotourism Center is really a great partner for us, the Pollinator Project, and we're going to really utilize their gardens for some more studies. And like I said, there's so many festivals you can do, go to and see. It's the food is Tex-Mex. It's really a mixture, but it's really good. Not but it is really great. um, a lot of people on this call have been in the Rio Grande Valley area longer than I can even think about, but I have really grown to really love it. It's become such an opportunity for me to explore my photography in ways that I had never explored before. And I just love the opportunities to see what else I can go, what else I can see. Of course, I can't go without saying SpaceX. SpaceX is now on in Brownsville, Boca Chica area. And if you are on the island sitting at that park, like I was saying, here's a tip for you. Um, there's your spot. You can get a perfect view. As you can see, the takeoff. You can see, as long as it's not cloudy out, which I've had many times where it was too cloudy to get, but um, you can get what you can from that. And they do it every so often. They let you know. Sometimes it's canceled and then they reschedule it. But um, it's history. I love to photograph history. All right. So, in conclusion, you can capture the essence of the Rio Grande Valley any way you possibly can. It's so many ways you can do it. There are workshops and tours in the area that can guide you. Birding tours, the ranches can help you, and there's private local guides. It's funny because I went up to the UP in Michigan. I'm in Michigan right now, and I wanted to get some of the birds that I haven't got before on my life list. And I went to one of the state parks, and I was asking them, "Hey, do you have a list of local guides?" And he said, "Guides for what?" I said, "For birding. Do you have any birding guides?" "Birding guides? What's that?" So no, that it's not. It's unique because there's all kinds of birds up there that I don't know where they're at. I don't have a clue. So that's what's great about getting a private guide. They can take you exactly where it's at. They're not going to take the picture for you. You have to do it. But it definitely is nice. And there are a lot of great people out here that help the others find. The boating tours, like I said, those are really great. Not only just for just going out for birding, but for other things. I went on a boating tour, and of course, you're going to see the dolphins. But he took me on a sandbar right in the middle of Laguna Bay, La Madre Bay, and the whole sandbar was completely full of sand dollars, and they were alive. It was awesome. I mean, unique opportunities. The festivals, WWE, that's a festival that's in the wintertime that the birding center on the island gives, and that's a really great opportunity to see a lot in the Rio Grande Valley area as well. The viewing, the sightseeing. Okay, so your art tours and the bird watching. So I mean, in conclusion, you can just find anything if you just put your heart to it. There's places you can find. So that's it.
That's a lot. Okay. I'm going to ask you to take your screen down. I've got a couple of
Okay.
questions. So right off the bat, who was asking? I think it was Todd was asking. Can you tell us what kind of camera kit you're using to shoot?
Well, I mostly shoot wildlife, and so I usually have my long lens with me. I shoot a Sony A Alpha One is what I have. That's my kit, and I have the 200 to 400, 200 to 400, or 200 to 600, and then I also have prime lens that I use for my macro photography. And then I have a wide angle lens that I use for some of my landscapes. not all of them, because I do, like I said, if I like to use my telephoto lens because I like to exaggerate the sun, and I didn't show very many pictures of that, but I do have some pictures that I have posted on my Facebook and Instagram page with the sun. It's just huge. You know, it looks like the person's a little tiny, I don't know, peanut next to them.
Okay. So you generated quite a few comments in here, and I'm going to share the chat with you so that you can see there are some really nice comments about your photography and how you've inspired people to head south to check out
Yay!
the yeah, the valley. Yeah. Okay. So you did share your email address, and I'll just ask you for, I think it was Mika that said, wanted to know if she could email you, if people could email you and ask you for maybe your list of guides that you'd recommend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
um,
anything, just yep, that's fine.
okay. And I don't mind that if you want to throw out two or three, you're welcome to do that. Not to put you on the spot, but if you have two or three that you're like, really, people go look for them, you're welcome to do
Well,
that.
Ruth Hoyt obviously is awesome. Javi, Gonzalez at the Birding Center, he actually does private guides too. I mean, does tours as well, and he's really, really a good one too. But you can also get tours right at the Birding Center for $5. They do charge $5 because they like to hold the spot because some people don't show up. But that alone, that little tour that they give at the birding center, you would not believe how many birds you'd walk away with. And that's where that mangrove warbler is. And you can't find that at all places. So that's a special place all time of year. You can see that mangrove warbler there. So
He's cool. I've never even heard
yes,
of
he
him.
is cool.
Very, very pretty colors. Todd's question is actually, let me start with a statement. I'm loving this macro stuff. Can you recommend any of your favorite shooting locations for macro?
Oh, well, because of the pollinator project, gardens are immense. Right now, it's a big kick right down there in South Texas to put in native gardens, pollinator gardens. We got a couple native plant society groups, and then our group, and then a couple others. And there are pollinator gardens all over the place. Definitely on the island. The birding center, the front part, you don't have to pay to do this either. You can just go to the front part, which you'll see plenty of birds too. But that is an awesome pollinator area. And we see a lot of monarchs. I tag there too all the time. So that's a great place. The convention center right next to it is a great place as well. And that's free. There's a boardwalk there you can walk on. You can see the water birds, and you can see, songbirds and some pollinators. They don't have full gardens the way the other ones do, though.
All right, with that, let me go ahead and close out this presentation. Chery, thanks so much for doing this. And
Oh, my pleasure.
I suspect you're on vacation, and for you to take some time away from your vacation, I so appreciate you doing this.
Yes, my pleasure.
All right. Next week, Luca Vanzella will present Solstice Sunrise Across the Latitudes. So until next time, go out and create something beautiful, and I hope that we see you again soon.